Thank you, Jen. And coming up next, after that was a wild game, we will have yet another great game. The number 2 team in the nation, NC State, Jada Boyd and crew off a 3-week layoff. Big name player not available for this. Still coming back from COVID. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. Taking on the Hokies here in just under 5.5 minutes. Asia Shepherd and crew. One of the best players in the ACC. First on the team in scoring, getting buckets. Can she pull off an upset against the Wolfpack? We'll find out in just a minute. Next up, coming on our air, Virginia Tech taking on NC State. We'll have much more in this Louisville game coming up tonight on Nothing But Net at 8 o'clock after the Notre Dame-Miami men's game. But, Coach, we got a lot to talk about with NC State here. This is going to be a really interesting game. Kayla Jones and crew have not played for 3 weeks. That is a long stretch in the middle of the season. They are the number 2 team in the nation, taking on a hungry Hokies team. Coach, big news for NC State, though, too. Coming off that long COVID situation, Alyssa Cunane is still unavailable. She's leads the team in points and rebounds, one of the best bigs in the country. How do they make up for her absence?
Not what you want to hear when Elizabeth Kitley's coming to town. Elizabeth Kitley leads the league in double-doubles. She's a force inside. They really needed Cunane to be somebody that would make it tough for Kitley to score against, and now she's not going to be in the game. Who's going to step up and take that spot? I love Kayla Jones. I think she's one of the most underrated players in the league. She's done so many big things in the South Carolina game, in the end of the Boston College game, to bring them back to win. She is somebody they're really going to count on. But after this long hiatus, who knows what's going to happen? There's so much uncertainty. But this veteran team, I think, will have handled it well.
Coach, we don't have much time, but how important is the start of this game, given the long layoff and Cunane not being there?
You know, I think it's key. I think you're going to see the game plan right off the bat. You're going to see if they're going to go inside and attack the post and try to get Kitley the ball. That's going to determine whether they're going to be able to open up the outside for their great shooters.
We'll find out. No Alyssa Cunane, but as you mentioned, other great players on this Wolfpack team, number 2 in the nation. Let's see if they can get it done. Let's get out to Sam Ravitch and Monica McNutt in Raleigh. We'll see you guys at the half.
Well, thank you, guys. Yep, the number 1 team in the nation almost went down. Here we have the number 2 team in the land. North Carolina State will host Virginia Tech this afternoon. The Wolfpack have been on pause for the last 3 weeks due to COVID, so this will be their first game since January 3rd. We'll see how they will fare today against the Hokies. And we welcome you into our respective homes alongside former Georgetown standout Monica McNutt. I'm Sam Ravitch. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Monica, let's start with this NC State team. They're at a program best tying number 2 ranking right now. Like we said, coming off a 3-week pause, so they're healthy. But not exactly. They are missing Alyssa Cunane, a huge, huge part to this team. Let me ask you this. How do they kind of fill that role, and who do they go to?
Well, Alyssa leads this team in 3 statistical categories flat out: points, rebounds, and blocks, and she is the centerpiece for what they do offensively and defensively. The only way to replace someone of her caliber is to do it by committee, partner, and that committee starts with Kayla Jones, KJ, who's having a terrific season. She's the only person on this list that can fill in that scoring role, but then Jada Rice and Camille Hobby. Jada Rice clocks in at 6'4", Camille Hobby at 6'1". If you look at what they've averaged combined in terms of rebounds and points, it doesn't equal what Alyssa has done. But if this entire 3 can put in minutes to replace her absence, then I think the Wolfpack
on the other side, Elizabeth
something.
Kitley and Alyssa Cunane go way back. Childhood best friends. We were really looking forward to seeing them on the court together here, but Elizabeth Kitley has been doing it all for the Hokies this year. Leads the nation with 9 double-doubles, man.
Yeah, and I think she should be in conversation for most improved player as well. She's made a tremendous jump from her freshman to her sophomore season. But in this particular game, she's going to have to do a better job of handling the double teams. She struggled a little bit against Notre Dame. She's got to find open shooters, and Virginia Tech, friend, they have plenty of them.
There you see Asia Shepherd right next to her. Keep in mind, 1-3 away from being the all-time career leader at Virginia Tech in made three-pointers. Just 1 away. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And if we've seen anything from Asia Shepherd this year, she likes to shoot threes. So we could see that record broken quite early on here.
Yeah, we're looking at school records, conference records, but she also leads the nation with 50
Correct.
made threes.
50 made threes so far in this season.
I love it. I love it.
Ty Crutchfield off the bounce, and she will get it started here at Reynolds Coliseum. First points of the game for the Wolfpack. Look at the Virginia Tech starting lineup as Asia Shepherd a little bit short there. You got Amor Baines, Kayla King, and Elizabeth Kitley. That 3 off the mark, and the rebound there to Tech.
This ball game, partner, is going to be really, really interesting. Obviously, we talked about it in our open, the pause for North Carolina State. So what team is going to show up today? But Virginia Tech, for folks that have not followed them this season, don't be fooled by their overall record. When you look at their scoring in conference play, their opponents have outscored them by just 1. They've had some really, really tough losses in conference.
After winning their first 6 games of the season, Virginia Tech has lost 6 of their last 7. They will also play North Carolina State today, and then they will play them again on Thursday. Just the chaos of this year has now scheduled Virginia Tech and North Carolina State back-to-back. A steal there from Kayla King, who just made a 3 on the other end. Here's Kitley now, pulls back and makes it. Elizabeth Kitley, the reigning ACC Freshman of the Year, getting it started here, and Virginia Tech on top 5-2 in the early going.
Yeah, that was a great, quick, decisive decision by Kitley. Didn't allow the double team to come, although at this point it doesn't look like Coach Moore has instructed his team to double team her. Again, the Wolfpack without their leading scorer and leading rebounder, Elisa Kinane, out today, still in COVID protocol, but there is Jada Rice, the redshirt sophomore, going to play a huge role this one with Kinane out. Yeah, Jada Rice, she has the capability of going off. Obviously still looking to find her way a bit with this NC State program. I mean, you got to be really, really good to take time away from Melissa Kinane, so today's a big deal for her. Georgia Amor's 3 off the mark and an offensive board for Kitley. Rice opting to defend Kitley one-on-one. There's the double, a little bit of a collapse. And she's still able to score. Now, we had this team, we've had them twice together. And before the last game, I talked with Asia Shepherd a bit, and she talked about just how deep Kitley's skill set really is. She's got lots of different moves that she works on to be able to score in that painted area. That runner's off the mark. And yeah, we talk about Kinane's ability and what she brings on the offensive side, but now you add in the factor of not having her on the defensive side and try and defend Kitley. That's such a tall task as Asia Shepherd knocks it down. There you go, the career leader at Virginia Tech for made threes, number 270 for Asia Shepherd. Congratulations to the senior. Big time congrats indeed. And Asia, obviously a prolific scorer for Coach Brooks' squad, but he also talks about her as a leader. And Sam, I know you and I make it a point to talk with coaches and players about everything that has made this year so unique, whether it's COVID or whether it's the various protests and demonstrations that we saw over the summer. And Asia just said, you know, I'm a leader by example. And so she sets an example for her teammates in terms of how to work hard and wants to be able to help facilitate conversations in the locker room, some that are good, bad, and sometimes uncomfortable. And so she's been the total package, one of Coach Brooks' first recruits when he got to Virginia Tech. And Jakia Brown-Turner getting on the board, the sophomore from Oxon Hill, Maryland, preseason All-ACC selection after what was really a breakthrough freshman year last year for her. Yeah, she's tremendous. She hails from McNamara, Bishop McNamara High School, which is in the conference that I actually played in and against, and is the WCAC, one of the famed high school basketball conferences for both men and women in the country. Boyd kicks out to Jakia Brown-Turner, who will try again for 3. A little bit too strong, and the rebound out of bounds off of Jada Rice. Head coach Wes Moore, a season at North Carolina State. Now, since taking over in April of 2013, has led the Wolfpack 4 NCAA tournament appearances, postseason invites, and your mind kind of wanders to, well, what could have happened last year? And he told us, you know, of course, every year's a new year. You don't really like to look back at what could have happened, but man, they were poised for some type of run in the NCAA tournament. I tell you what he does remember, partner. And Coach has now put $50 on a $5 comment that I said down the stretch last year. The Wolfpack needed to find a little bit of an identity. They'd given me some Jekyll and Hyde vibes. And so, of course, we laugh and joke about it now. But Coach made a great point. It's tough to win games in conference, and he said that last year, and each year certainly is a new year. But in this particular matchup, you know, he was the first to point out, we're not concerned with Virginia Tech's record. He's like, I don't look at records, I watch tape. And he watched the tape of Virginia Tech go down to the wire with the Louisville squad. So you can bet that his team did the best they could to prepare for this game.
All right, so early on, under 5 minutes here in the first quarter, we will step aside. Asia Shepherd, the new all-time leader in three-pointers made at Virginia Tech. Congratulations to Shepherd. Her team is on top by 1 against the number 2 team in the land. And there's a new queen in town, Asia Shepherd, 270 made three-pointers, passing Vanessa Panousis at 269, a record that was not held for really all that long. And Asia Shepherd just came in and shattered it with plenty of games left to still play this season, Monica.
Oh, hell, the queen. Sam, you got to give that a little. Listen, as a three-point shooter, literally, that was my favorite part of playing basketball. You got to really get up for a good three-point shooting record. Oh, hell, the queen. Asia came into Virginia Tech and said, what's the record in this joint? Because I'm about to blow that thing out the water. Congratulations to her. Again, can't commend her enough for how hard she's worked to become all that she means to this Virginia Tech program.
An offensive foul there against Jakia Brown-Turner, and I know somebody who's really proud of Asia Shepherd is the man right there, Kenny Brooks, in his 5th season at Virginia Tech. And I think what speaks to what Asia Shepherd has meant to this program, Coach Brooks said the maturation and the way that she has really grown and matured as a basketball player has not just been season by season. It has gone from 1 to 10 over her time with the Hokies.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, there are so many options for college basketball players in terms of the transfer portal, and this system doesn't work for me, and whatever the case may be. But Asia, and credit to her mom, according to Coach Brooks, decided to stick it out even when she wasn't the face of the program as she is now. But it has certainly paid off.
Jada Boyd, her first points of the game. Strong drive there. Shepherd wanted the and one, didn't get it, but certainly made a case for herself. And 15-11 Hokies on top here in the first quarter.
You know, this has been a very settled ball game so far. Not any bad decisions from either squad, really. Both teams playing within themselves for a group that's been on a 3-week pause. And you and I have learned about this through the duration of the season as Reina Perez doesn't get her second chance opportunity to fall. The continuity for NC State, at points over their pause, they had as many as 6 available to practice, somewhere between 6 and 11. But they are still probably working to find their game rhythm again. It's been a while.
Now, someone might want to put a hand in the face of Kayla King, who's got 9 points, 3 for 3 from long range now in the first quarter. So something that Coach Wes Moore might want to have a couple of words with his team about. Yeah,
King, Amore, they both didn't shoot the ball particularly well in the last game out for Virginia Tech against Notre Dame, so you can bet that they're looking to find more of a stride.
Greg's shot is off the mark. Down low to Boyd on Greg, fade away, and that rattles off. No good, and Shepherd with the board.
Jada, she can hit that, but I love when she squares up, faces opponents, and uses her quick ability to explode off the bounce to get by with that quick first step and right into the paint and absorb contact.
Georgia Amore spinning in the lane, and a wraparound call going against the Hokies and Amore.
Yeah, little chicken wing, funky little chicken wing, you know. Speaking of, I have a 14 wings to put in my air fryer this afternoon, Sam. Just for the record. Season them up real nice this morning.
After our game, yeah.
You know, I'm ready now. I'm ready.
I thought it was interesting talking to Coach Moore yesterday. You know, he's somebody who will just give it to you straight for the most part. And I think you asked him, how have you guys managed the last 3 weeks, and what are your expectations coming into this game? And he said, we'll find out, which was very Bill Belichickian of him.
That's a great reference.
But yeah, they're a team and led by a man who's very upfront with you and will tell you what exactly is on his mind. What would he like to see be improved here in the first quarter? Because they are down by 4.
Well, you know, I think that he's probably probably okay. Jakia Brown-Turner just hit a 3 there. You know, she shoots 40% from behind the arc. I think NC State has done a good job getting looks so far in this ball game. To your point, they've got to get a hand out on shooters. Coach was like, you know, they've got 3 guards that shoot 40%. So defensively, they've got to find the shooters, and then turnovers probably drive every coach crazy.
Shepard steps back for 3 and knocks it down. Asia Shepard, a pair of 3s here in the first quarter. She has got 8 points.
The tempo is something that we also talked about with Coach Moore, in particular, what Reina Perez brings to this unit. That was, again, Jakia Brown-Turner. I'm so excited to see how she develops over the course of her time in at Wolfpack Jersey through the ACC. She's got a very, very bright future. But I think right now, Coach Moore is probably has more to say about his team defensively than offensively.
Whistle blows on the floor. I believe Kitley got bumped on the head a little bit. She's holding that top of her head there, so she will be taken off. Hope that she's okay to return, but I'm sure they will definitely check any head injury very, very closely.
Yeah, that is odd, but it clearly is bothering her. We hope that that's nothing serious.
So Shepard drives, gets bumped, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Now, is that going to go against... Okay, so that's going to go against Hobby and not Kayla Jones, who initially had the task of defending off of that screen action.
And this goes to your point, too, Monica. It's going to be by committee to try and fill the role of Elisa Canane. I don't think you can say enough about what Canane means to this team. And it didn't seem as if Canane would be back sometime soon. We hope that's not the case, but that was kind of the feeling that I got, that there was just a lot of unknowns around her in COVID protocol currently.
Yeah, and you know, it's such an interesting year, Sam. Coaches, players, you're tasked with dealing with what is in front of you. And this obviously is the group that is here to compete against the feisty Virginia Tech squad. And you literally take it one day at a time.
Foul's going against Deja Gregg there. 4th team foul for the Hokies here. 51.7 left to go in the first quarter. And I think another foul going against the Hokies.
I think that's Michaela Ennis that caught up trying to defend Brown-Turner coming off of the screen action.
5th team foul, so Jakia Brown-Turner at the line now. All ACC freshman team honoree last year, after averaging almost 10 points a game in her freshman season, goes 1 for 2 from the line.
Jakia shoots about just under 70% from the free throw line. Gotta have that, Sam. Ask me what I can't stand.
Missed free throws.
Oh, see? You already know. Oh, I hate missed free throws.
Off the mark from Shepard, and Gregg reels in the rebound.
Virginia Tech obviously has, you know, this is more, oh, wow.
Long range from Shepard. Gregg right there to clean it up, though. Deja Gregg.
Wow, a second chance opportunity on a second chance possession. NC State's got to do a better job of getting on the glass. Coach joked with us, it seems like you give up an offensive rebound and they knock down a 3.
That's the end of the first quarter, and Monica, we could be in for a wild one here if Asia Shepard and co can keep it up by 7 against the #2 team in the nation.
It would be fitting for this one to go down to the wire because it's been that kind of day in ACC women's basketball action.
Well, today we remember and we mourn, of course, a legend, and that is Kay Yao. We see her there right outside of Reynolds Coliseum in Kay Yao Court at NC State. Head coach from 1975 to 2009, 12 years to the day since the passing of head coach Kay Yao. More than 700 wins, Hall of Famer, coached the U.S. women's basketball team as well to a gold in 1988. And Monica, what Coach Yao meant not only to the game of women's basketball, but basketball at large. She touched so many people, and the great work that the Kay Yao Cancer Fund does cannot be understated as well. But today we remember the coach, the person, and the legend of Kay Yao.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a giant in the women's basketball game, and our good friend and colleague Debbie Antonelli had the opportunity to play with her and shares so many heartfelt stories. But so many women, whether it's ACC or just women's basketball abroad, I've had the opportunity to hear Doris Burke share stories about Kay Yao. And so a tremendous legacy, and one that we love to see honored, as you see on the court there. And of course, her name is always mentioned when we have our breast cancer awareness and our pink games. We was talking about Coach Sam. Coach would have loved this. Ooh, a little change of direction, a little pump fake. Come on, jab step. Now watch yourself now, KJ. Get on up off the ground.
Kayla King is on fire. There's no other way to put it right now. She came in firing from beyond the arc. 12 points to lead the way, 4 for 5 so far in just about a little over 10 minutes.
It's been an interesting, I feel like you and I, technically we've called 2 of the last 5 games for the Hokies, but I feel like we've been there for each one. And it's been an interesting run for them, as you see Kai Crutchfield, who coach was hesitant, but finally he gave me an X factor, and her name came up as far as someone who could make a big difference in what this squad does. But it's been a really interesting run for this Hokie squad. Coach Brooks has talked with us about who he's asked to step up, and King and Amor were the first 2 names that he's had these various heart-to-heart moments with. And coming off of their last performance, both of them did not shoot the ball well. So it's good to see Kayla King back out there confidently letting that thing fly.
Back-to-back threes, first by Crutchfield, this one by Camille Hobby, the sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, if NC State starts hitting threes, then it opens up the floor in a tremendous way, because not only can they shoot, but there are 4 players on the court right now that we just got a shooting display. That stopped me mid-sentence, partner.
We got a couple of good three-point shooting teams here. We knew that coming in, but how about 7 for 12 for Virginia Tech, 4 for 11 for NC State here in the early parts of the second quarter.
That's 11 made threes already in this ball game. Collectively, I love it. The only thing that would make these threes any more spectacular for me is if they were coming in transition.
That'll be the second foul on Kayla King, again the leading scorer with 12 points for the Hokies, so she will head to the bench and take a seat.
Kunane is back out on the floor as well, so that's a good sign.
Kitley.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Kitley. I apologize.
Ball knocked away by Georgia Amor, and a scrum forward in the open floor. Finally, a whistle blows. Have to imagine this is going against
Jada Boyd.
Jada Boyd.
Yeah, she's the officials demonstrated that there was a little extra leg action, but you love this hustle. Both players diving for it. You know, I'm not on site. I can't say.
Good hustle by both players, though.
Definitely. Now, Hobby. Oh, wow. What a take.
Nice drive by Azana Baines.
Yeah. That athleticism. And, you know, Azana's beginning to find her way within this offense. Strong take and finish.
Jakia Brown Turner for 3.
She does not need much space. Man, I mean, basically step behind the screen, one rhythm dribble, and launch. She's such a pure shooter.
Shepard steps into the free throw line and knocks it down. Asia Shepard now with 11.
I'm not sure what the decision is going to be on guarding screens, but Jada Boyd was quite a few steps back, which allowed Shepard to use that screen and forced Brown Turner to trail, and she got a clean look at the basket.
North Carolina State, one of 7 remaining undefeated teams in the nation. Of course, one of 2 in the ACC.
Kayla Jones has such great hands and feel for the basketball. I was initially concerned that she was dribbling into 3 black jerseys. She almost lost her handle, but she gathered and was able to elevate over her defender and knock down a little free throw line jumper.
Coach Brooks said that, of course, you're impressed with Elisa Kinane, but he said Kayla Jones is the player to watch out for that can really make you pay. as Kitley catches, turns, and shoots and scores.
We got 3-point shooting, Sam. We got Kitley off 1 foot fading away. We got Kayla Jones pulling up at the ACC after fumbling the rock. We're just getting some great offense in this ball game.
Both teams shooting over 50% right now.
Listen, what's the record in this joint? What's the over-under on the score?
All right, here's our Thursday women's basketball doubleheader. Georgia Tech taking on Miami, 6 Eastern. Then undefeated Louisville is ranked #1 for the first time in school history. They almost coughed it up today against Wake Forest, but they're going to host North Carolina at the KFC Yum Center. Both games right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Monica, we were watching that game, and a lot of Louisville fans biting their nails, I would have to imagine, in that one.
Biting their nails, or as me, Kelsey, and Kelly and Coach McGraw like to joke, pulling out their eyelashes, because that one was an absolute thriller. Dana Evans comes up with an and-one 3-point play with 16 seconds on the clock to pull that one out for the Cards. And I tell you what it means. We talked with we've heard from both Coach Walls and Coach Moore about their new rankings, 1 and 2 respectively, as Kayla Jones knocks down that 3. All those rankings mean in the month of January, Sam, is that everybody is now coming for you. And Wake Forest and Coach Hoover, they were prepared to a T as far as their scouting report, and they came to play and literally were 2 points shy, or they would have needed 3 to win, 3 points shy of pulling that thing off.
5-point game and a turnover there.
See, that's what Kayla Jones does. That was a tremendous dive, and basically, because she didn't finish there, but defensively, she slipped right in to take away what would have been an easy layup for, I believe, that was Asia Shepherd who got loose on the block. Or no, it wasn't Asia, it was Azana, I believe. But that was a smart heads-up play defensively.
Down low to Kitley, double team coming, and Kitley off the mark.
Camille Hobby gives up about 3 inches to Kitley. She's defending purely from behind her. I wonder.
Nice pass underneath to Camille Hobby, who finishes. The assist from Perez, count the bucket, and the foul.
Reyna Perez has been a huge addition for this NC State squad. The little dish to your post player, finishing around 3 black jerseys. Get big.
So Elizabeth Kitley earlier on in this game got bumped on the head. You see it right there from Camille Hobby, the elbow to the head. Immediately put the hand to the head, ice to the head as well in the timeout. But it seems as if she is okay and still playing pretty well, fighting through. You know, every coach is preparing some sort of game plan for Elizabeth Kitley. Attention is going to be on her. And she has been more physical this year, Coach Kenny Brooks says, and needs to be too.
She doesn't have a choice, but I tell you what, since she got clocked in the head, she gave us that 1 foot fadeaway jumper in the paint, and she hit it. So I would say she's okay.
She's doing all right.
This is, man, I was in the break though, Sam. Virginia Tech shooting 58% from 3. NC State shooting 46% from 3. Overall, Virginia Tech is shooting 50%. NC State is shooting 54%. I love offense, but I'm wondering, somebody need to pick it up on defense?
Amore trying to add to the totals, but misses, so that'll lower it a little bit for Virginia Tech, but still 7 for 13 from long range. There's a 3 from Kayla Jones, knocks it down. Man, it must look like a huge basket today for these shooters.
Oh my gosh, just throwing the ball in the ocean, baby, and you love it. Now, I will say, exchanging baskets is cool, but at some point, one of these teams is going to have to sit down and make it a little bit more difficult for the other, as Kitley just goes over that left with the baby skyhook. The way that she's added to her game, man, what a jump she's made.
Kitley, 8 points, 5 boards. 3 in the corner. I mean, Monica.
Okay, now that I will point out is a little bit ridiculous defensively. Wide open. Kai Crutchfield not bothered at all. NC State leads by 1.
Tuesday. We know they're all important, but this is a big January game for the Tar Heels, who are 5-3 in the conference. When they take on Pitt at the Peterson Athletic Center, Panthers are 4-2 in the conference. A game behind Virginia and a half game behind Virginia Tech, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the ACC Network, and of course on the ESPN app. Here's Asia Shepard driving the lane, misses, but gets her own rebound, kicks it back out.
It's an interesting.
Amor for three, yes. Georgia Amor, the freshman from Australia, knocking it down and putting Virginia Tech back on top by 1.
Moving without the basketball. That was a great find by Kitley. She kept the ball high above her head so she could see the floor. Great little cut by Amor, then knocking down the 3.
It is just a 3-point shootout here with Camille Hobby adding to the total there.
Literally.
This is insane.
This is getting a little crazy. Okay.
Somebody's going to have to flinch, right, Monica? Someone's going to have to flinch first.
Somebody's got to defend. And it's funny, we've talked with Coach Brooks, his team, over the course of the season. Philosophically, he pointed out how challenging it is to shift gears, right, in the midst of this season with so many uncertainties. But he and his team have had conversations about defending. And in fact, he gave me a little credit for calling them out, because I said at some point you got to just sit down and decide to stay connected. Fortunately, today, they're clicking offensively as well, but I've not really been impressed with the defensive intensity of either of these squads.
Especially out on the perimeter, it has not been very good. It's been easy.
I'm sure the stat sheet, or excuse me, the scouting report for the Hokies, or excuse me, for the Wolfpack was this team shoots threes.
Right.
Now, I will say, while we've seen lots of three-point shooting, Virginia Tech has not allowed NC State to get going in transition, and in turn, the Wolfpack has not really allowed a lot of downhill penetration, although Kitley's been able to score in the paint.
Deja Gregg will head to the bench, and Deja Green will check in. Tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Our next ACC Traditions features Virginia, an in-depth look into history of the Who's, all the greatest teams, players, and coaches, plus never-before-seen footage and interviews. It actually starts a 2.5-hour block of Cavalier programming. Nobody covers the ACC like we do.
I believe we had an offensive foul called against Camille Hobby on the rebound.
Yeah, second foul on Jakia Brown-Turner there.
Okay. Got it.
Down low to Kitley, immediately met with a double team, tries to kick it out. Shepard able to handle the pass.
Jada Rice obviously being a little bit more physical with Kitley. Great defense there,
but good defense by Jada Rice.
Without fouling. And here's a little bit of that transition that NC State loves to get out in. There we go. So I used to have an AAU coach, and I love this. He would always break the game down in chunks. Even if we were playing well, he would set goals for us. Give me 2 stops and 2 scores, whatever the case may be. And that defensive possession for me was the liveliest we've seen from the Wolfpack.
Largest lead of the game for North Carolina State. 3 from Deja Green is no good.
NC State's been on a 6-0 run over the last 146. Raina Perez with the tempo, pushing ahead to Kai Crutchfield, heads up play. Jada Boyd running the floor, hesitates, feels that defender, and gets the high percentage basket to go. But the ultimate assist on that play would have to go to Jada Rice, who played terrific defense on Elizabeth Kitley and then cleaned up with the defensive rebound.
Wolfpack up by 5, 22 left to go in the first half. Perez kicks it out. There's Kayla Jones for 3, no good. Off the hand of Elizabeth Kitley, so it'll stay with North Carolina State.
That was a good contest by Asia Shepard, getting out to Kayla Jones, who's already hit 1, if not 2 of those in this ball game. She's hit 2 threes. Yeah, she's 2 for 3 from behind the arc.
foul going against Azana Baines there on the inbound. Shot clock is off with 15.2.
That's the second call that has gone against the Virginia Tech Hokies defending screens. And I actually applaud the Wolfpack because what it says to me is that they're doing the little thing that's so important on screens where you set your defender up to have to hit that screen. And what that is a jab step, a hesitate, even a look in a different direction so that your defender can't jump the screen.
Good inbounds pass and a strong take by Kayla Jones. She'll go to the free throw line. Second personal against Georgia Amore.
Jones has been so tremendous for Coach Moore this year. And, you know, you look at the trajectory of her scoring over her time as a member of this team. She goes from less than 1. I think her freshman year may have been 0.6. And then so slowly you see her numbers creep up until last year and this year. Now she's in the double figure scoring. But she's a perfect example of a player who's committed to the long-term game, and now her versatility is such a weapon for Coach Moore. She can play 3, 4, or 5 if needed.
Amore might have forced it back the other way. Last shot coming up and missing for Kayla Jones. So that'll do it for the first half as the second-ranked team in the nation, the North Carolina State Wolfpack, hold on at least in the first half, 47-41.
Kayla Jones
with 9 points, Monica. She had a good first half.
Yeah, KJ is what they call her. She's knocked down 2 threes. She's been active. She's been communicating. She's the leader, both in terms of what happens on the court and off.
Welcome into this ACC Network halftime report alongside Coach Muffet McGraw. I'm Kelsey Riggs. It is a 6-point game at the half. NC State on top, but Coach, they trailed by as many as 10 in that. What impressed you the most about what NC State was able to do to get back in this game?
Well, they made a lot of threes. I think both teams shooting the ball really well. NC State without a big piece of their offense, without Cunane inside. The ball is going inside to her when she's in the game. Now they've got to rework some things. They're going to play more on the perimeter, and they're playing it really well right now. I was really, really happy to see them step up and make those threes.
Coach, on the other side of it, Virginia Tech, they've hit 8 threes in the first half as well. They love to shoot it from the outside. What do you want to see from them in the second half to continue to be in this game against a team like NC State?
Kayla King got off to a great start, and of course Shepard's always going to be a threat on the perimeter, but I'd love to see them go inside to Kitley more. She's 4 for 10 from the field. NC State doing a good job on the double team. However, she hasn't been to the free throw line because she's settling for jumpers. I think she could get inside. The defense on her right now, they're being physical, they're bringing the double team. I think she can do more, and I think that's going to be the key for Virginia Tech.
NC State playing for the first time since January 3rd. They're the number 2 team in the country. This was kind of close early. Let's show you what happened with the number 1 team in the country because it was close the entire game. Jeff Walls, number 1 Louisville, taking on Wake Forest. And we go straight to the fourth quarter because Louisville's got a 5-point lead. Gina Conti, little defense into offense, puts Wake on top by 7, but later in the fourth quarter, Coach, it was Dana Evans that really turned it on for the Cardinals.
Just what you would expect from the player of the year. She struggled in the first half, and Wake Forest did a good job, but she can hit it from long range, but she did most of her damage by driving the ball. She was able to get inside, but how about the freshman going to Van Lith in a time when she had only had 3 points in the game, get a very critical point in the game. Jeff Walls calls her number. But Ratza came back on the other end. She did a really good job. And I think if Wake Forest could have made some free throws, it may have been a different game.
It was back and forth, 10 seconds left. Dana Evans there through contact and makes the bucket. Comes up with the big moment. Louisville hangs on to win 65-63 the final in that one. And as you see, the Cardinals now 22-0 when Dana Evans scores 20 points or more. Coach, early on it looked like Dana may not get close to that at all. She took a little while to get going, but when they needed her, they could call her number and she stepped up. What is it about Dana Evans that is so impressive?
Well, I love seeing her face at a time when she's a very kind of poised and not going to get high or low, but boy, she had that look on her face like we are not losing this game, and it's up to me to make sure that happens. She really took over between assists and baskets. She did a fabulous job down the stretch, and 22 points. I didn't think either team was going to get to 60. It was such a low-scoring game for most of it. So great job by Dana.
It was a fantastic performance from them to gut it out and get that. It's just the first time that they've ever been ranked #1 and just their second game playing as the #1 team in the country. Here on ACC Network, we've got the #2 team in the country with a 6-point lead at the half. But Virginia Tech, if they could keep knocking down the threes, they could get right back in it. We'll have more after this. Right now, we got to get you back out to Reynolds Coliseum in just a few minutes. You've got Camille Hobby coming off the bench, getting it done for NC State. It's a 6-point game at the break.
Welcome back. The three-point shooting was on point in the first half, Monica. Let's start with Virginia Tech.
On point, okay? These teams lights out from behind the arc. Asia Shepherd getting involved in the action. Kayla King. As a team, Virginia Tech is shooting 44% from behind the arc. On the other side, for the Wolfpack, off of a 3-week hiatus, 50% from three. Jakia Brown-Turner, Camille Hobby getting in the mix. This one for me, Kai Crutchfield wide open in the corner. Now, the ball movement has been terrific for both teams. NC State with 9 assists and Virginia Tech with 8 assists.
North Carolina State second in the conference shooting threes. Virginia Tech third. So we knew this was going to be a very good three-point shooting game. Virginia Tech's Kayla King got in some foul trouble, had 2 early fouls, so that sent her to the bench. But she did have 12 points, 4 for 5 from three-point range, and Jakia Brown-Turner rattled off 12 herself in the first half. North Carolina State, Monica, was down 27-17 in this game. They turned that into a 6-point lead at the half. A 16-point turnaround for the #2 team in the nation in the first half.
And you know, that's what basketball is. It's a game of runs, and particularly over the last 2 minutes, about 1:46, less than 2 minutes, of the third or second quarter, I should say, NC State went on that 6-0 run, which kind of propelled them out into the lead going into halftime. But I gotta say, as much as I love three-point shooting, when you look in the stats, NC State holds teams to about 30% from the three-point line, where Virginia Tech is allowing teams to shoot 39% from the free throw line, or three-point line, excuse me. So at some point, somebody's going to have to decide to run a shooter off the spot, get a high hand and contest, because the team that defends better, and I know this sounds kind of basic, Sam, but honestly, the team that can figure out how to defend is going to have the upper hand in this game.
Right. First foul on Elizabeth Kitley comes in the second half, so that is good news for Virginia Tech. Not great news, though. They allow Jakia Brown-Turner to get the first points of the second half, and she now has 14.
What a great finish, attacking left, the little left-handed floater. The versatility of Brown-Turner's game. I mean, last year she was more of a pure spot-up shooter. This year she's been putting the ball on the floor and attacking the paint more consistently.
Shepherd got hit in the corner there. It leads to a breakaway for the Wolfpack and an easy 2 for Jakia Brown-Turner.
Now here's also the very, very dangerous point in the ball game. Virginia Tech has been susceptible to these horrible droughts in scoring. You know, they allow teams to go on double-digit runs and don't have an answer. This is not a time for that to happen, as Asia Shepherd does her part there with that 3 to make sure it doesn't happen. And literally, the only way to be mindful of those droughts is possession by possession, and they can't allow themselves to find themselves in what one of our coaches used to call a self-fulfilling prophecy of negativity. They've got to put the ball in the basket and defend.
There's some good defense there by Asia Shepherd. She gets fouled by Camille Hobby. But yes, I think Virginia Tech's getting a little bit sick of the close but no cigar motto. They've lost for the 6th time this season, coming off their last game against Notre Dame. The average margin of victory against them has been 5 points. But you look at the close games this season, and in ACC play, the point differential is -1. That's all. So they've been so close, but you know, putting together that complete game has been difficult for the Hokies this year.
And, you know, discussing this team gets our group chat going and for us ACC analyst as Kitley knocks down the free throw line jumper. You have the one argument where you are your record, right? And particularly in this year, with all of the oddities and the conversations about conference tournaments, yay or nay, although we know that the ACC is planning to proceed, the record right now would suggest that Virginia Tech would need the AQ opportunity, right? But we know that this team is better than their record as KJ is able to get the basket there. You're right. At some point, you got to get over the hump. You got to find a way to come out at the end of the game on the W side and not the L side.
Kitley, another mid-range, this time missing.
Of course, the Wolfpack, one of the few remaining unbeatens nationally, 2 in our league, alongside Louisville, who narrowly escaped a loss today.
You know, what's funny, too, is Virginia Tech, you can make the argument, is one of the tougher teams to play if you're Louisville or North Carolina State, because they can shoot the three and they are so lethal as Kitley gets fouled underneath. But man, they gave Louisville a run for their money. They had them on the ropes with a minute left to go, and they were leading here 27-10 in this game in the early part of the first half.
Yeah, the most critical time, obviously, in the game is how we finish. And the other night, they got down big to Notre Dame, but with 2 minutes in the ballgame, they were in a position to take the lead and win that ballgame. So at some point, you've got to grow from your experiences, right? Like, you can't continue to repeat the same mistakes. That essentially is insanity and has been a formula that has proven not to work. So between the ill-timed turnovers and the scoring droughts, those are the areas that I would imagine the Hokies are focused in on not repeating today. And it's a tall task. You're now talking about the #2 team in the land.
Right. Nice play by Azana Baines to keep possession there, knocking it off a Wolfpack player.
I think that this is going to be, it is a unique moment for the Wolfpack. They obviously ranked second, I believe, for the first time in program history.
That ties their best program ranking.
There you go, ties their best program ranking. But they are coming off of 3 weeks of who can practice, who can't practice, you know? So there's a lot of unusualness about the cadence of the preparation for this ballgame. So this will say a lot about them as a unit.
Wide open shot and a three knocked down by Deja Gregg. She's got 5 points now in the game.
I feel like every time we have a Virginia Tech game, I learn a little bit more about who can do what.
Deja Gregg knocks it away there on the floor and calls a timeout, gets it off. The official gives Virginia Tech the timeout. Their first in the third quarter. So Hokies coming up a little bit, but the three's still raining down, Monica.
Penetration, suck in the defense, kick out. Deja Gregg, you're all alone, baby. You know what to do. Knocks down the three.
First game in 3 weeks for the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. They're back healthy, but not completely healthy. Again, they're missing Elisa Kanane, their leading scorer and rebounder. So the question was at the top of our show, who is going to be able to fill the role of Kanane, who's still in COVID protocol? And you see there, Jones, Hobby, both above their season averages, and Rice as well. But the minutes per game, like you said, Monica, it's a good point. You're not going to take away minutes from a player like Elisa Kanane. So when she's out, very rarely do you have players that are really experienced to come fill that role. But they've done a good job so far today.
Yeah, they have. And what they do have, while they may not have the minutes logged on stats sheets, they have to battle one of the best, if not the best, depending on who you talk about, post players in our league in practice day to day. Of course, correct. When the entire group can get together and practice and we're not in COVID protocol. But excuse me, about their historic ranking, it's funny, Coach, I asked Coach, are you excited first time or second time, or it ties the highest ranking in program history? And he's like, listen, we don't really feel like we're clicking or we have all that mojo, considering that we've been off. And so since this team has ascended that high in the rankings, this is the first time we've seen them play.
Last game was January 3rd against Boston College. They got a big win there, but then hit with the COVID cases, and that'll be the third foul on Neil Hobby, so that hurts.
Yeah, that's certainly kind of costly. We're going to see more of Jada Rice, I imagine. Jada Boyd has not had to play much of the five today, so that's good. That allows her to do what she does so well in terms of crashing the glass and running the floor.
Kitley finds Shepard, the floater, and gets fouled. She'll shoot 2 at the line.
Speaking of Rice,
Asia Shepard now the new 3-point career leader at Virginia Tech after knocking down the first 3 in this game. She's already got 14 points, coming off a season high 29 points in the loss to Notre Dame. Shot 23s in that game. All right, keep in mind our Thursday women's basketball doubleheader. Georgia Tech taking on Miami at 6 Eastern. Then undefeated Louisville is ranked #1 for the first time in school history. They're going to host UNC at the KFC Yum Center. Both games right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Hokies climbing back down by 2, a scoring drought of just over 2 minutes for the Wolfpack here in the third quarter.
Fade, what a great read.
Brown Turner's 3 is off the mark, and Kitley brings down the rebound. Kitley now two rebounds away from her 10th double-double of the season.
I love the way Jakia Brown-Turner works off the screen. She makes such great reads off the screens. And I also am quite the fan of poised Liz Kitley, just taking advantage of her height, dropping a classic drop step and finish.
Nice kick to Kai Crutchfield for 3, no good. Do you think the Wolfpack are settling a little bit for threes, or has that just kind of been their game plan now with Cunane out?
The one Kai just had was a good look.
Ooh, and one for Asia Shepard to give Virginia Tech the lead again.
The energy. Oh, man. Asia just puts her head down on that one, finishes in traffic, attacks off the right. The scoop. A little bit risky. I would have loved to see a little jump stop and floater because KJ is not going to attempt to block that shot. A little bit risky, but it goes in her favor. She was clearly under control. Man, you can't just play her for the 3. And because she's such a prolific 3-point shooter, it opens up driving lanes for her to attack. But to your point, Sam, about shot selection, I thought the last 3 that the Wolfpack attempted was an open look. Kai Crutchfield was open, penetration to the middle, kick out and shoot. The one previous to that, Jakia Brown-Turner, she can hit that, but I actually thought she was open off the initial fade coming off their screen, but the pass came a little bit late.
A 10-0 run over the last 2+ minutes for Virginia Tech. They now have the lead, 56-53.
Got a little bit of defensive energy going for the Hokies on this possession as well. Jada Boyd forcing the issue. I love that decision by Boyd to force the issue going right at Kitley. All right, they say you're a shot blocker. Let's see what you do when I attack the basket. Jada Boyd earns herself a trip to the free throw line.
Welcome back. Hokies on a 15-2 run over the last 4 minutes and 7 seconds. But NC State has been in COVID protocol for the last 3 weeks. We've talked about it. This is the women's D1 basketball canceled or postponed games this week alone. Almost 150 games this month, over 600, a total of 1,336 total games entering today that have been postponed or canceled. And NC State has not been, they have been privy to that. As you see, the ACC, 76 postponed or canceled games, the Big West leading the way. Not in a category you would like to lead, but, you know, this is the territory that we are in currently, where you're going to have positive tests and positive cases. You just hope and pray that your team can stay healthy throughout this whole thing, and a lot of luck is involved as far as scheduling goes and whatnot. But I thought it was interesting too when Monica and I got a chance to speak to Mary McElroy yesterday, the Senior Associate Commissioner for Women's Basketball in the ACC, and she was very gracious with her time with us, explaining about all the protocols in the ACC and what their plan is for the ACC tournament this year. And I found the conversation really interesting.
I agree, and Mary was very forthright with us. She talked, I believe, to this point, there's 3 teams in our conference that have not had to go on pause: Virginia Tech,
correct,
Wake, and Miami, which is exciting. But, you know, as we go game by game, Sam, it appears, and in fact, the case is that the protocols on how you respond to positive tests vary from state to state and university to university. You're talking about a 7, 10, or 14-day pause, depending on the regulations. And of course, the contact tracing, the COVID protocols include who was around who and not just the single positive test. But the conference standard is to have the entire team, both teams involved, test 48 hours or 2 days out from game tip. And those tests have to come back negative for the games to proceed.
Right, and some teams may test more, some may can't test less, but some teams may test 7 days a week. You see, this is the Virginia Tech Hokies kind of schedule. We asked Coach Brooks to kind of lay it out for us. Thursday, they played a tough one at Notre Dame. They lost. Then you do schoolwork on the flight home Friday. Bright and early, get something right up your nose, which is not a great way to wake up on a Friday morning, but you got to do it. 7 a.m. COVID test, afternoon practice. They don't use their locker room, so Virginia Tech Hokies come ready to play. They can use individual bathrooms. Saturday, you get the test results back. You traveled. They were good to go. And then here you play this game. You get tested before you leave. So, I mean, what these young women are put up against and what they have to do is amazing. And it cannot go understated that they are the true heroes, I think, of this season. And we just thank them for playing and playing through this. It's not easy. It's a tough foul there, too.
Indeed. I can't imagine not being able to be in my locker room and kick it with my team. That's the lifeblood of all that we do. The locker room is where it's at. Jakia Brown-Turner, see, this is what they mean about putting your head down and making up your mind, having a predetermined play as opposed to seeing what the defense gives you. Jakia Brown-Turner easily could give you 3 dribbles, pull up on a jump stop, and knock down a short jumper, but she had already decided she was going to the free throw or going to the basket, and Georgia Amore did a great job of staying low and in front and beating her to the spot.
Tough pass, and that's going to be the 4th turnover for Georgia Amore. Still a freshman, young point guard, taking the reins for Taj Cole, who kind of ran the point last year for Virginia Tech. Graduated, was a great point guard for them last year.
Interestingly enough, I was concerned about the Hokies' notorious droughts, but it's been the Wolfpack that have gone on a drought, at least from the field. They've had a couple free throws to chip into the scoring column.
Second foul on Azana Baines.
And the Wolfpack has been without a field goal for the last 5-15.
Kayla Jones makes the first there. Still a lot of basketball left to play here. If you're a Virginia Tech fan, you know that the number 2 team in the nation will not let you get away with this one easily. So should be in for a good one down the stretch here. Shepard steps back for 3. Yes, Asia Shepard off the bounce. 22 points on the afternoon. 4 for 10 from long range.
Shepard is so good.
Ooh, there's Kai Crutchfield along 2.
Man,
that brings NC State up to 59.
Yeah, this is certainly the type of game that you love if you love offense.
Fairly clean game, too. Only 5 turnovers for Virginia Tech. Also only 8 for North Carolina State. So both teams taking really good care of the ball.
A total of 20 combined free throws. Not a ton of fouling.
By the way, we talk a lot about double-digit games for these players. That is the 6th 20-plus effort of the year for Asia Shepard. Not 10-plus points, not 15, 20-plus for Asia Shepard.
Wow. Consistency, okay? Can I have a Sunday moment, Sam? Can we have a Sunday preach moment about consistency in all of our lives? And Liz Kitley is consistently around the rim, rebounding and putting in high percentage baskets for this Hokie squad.
Wolfpack have to get some momentum going offensively. Find some rhythm. There's a shot from Kayla Jones. You okay with that 3 or no?
Not really. I kind of wanted Kayla Jones to keep her dribble alive, give me an up fake, peek the rim, cause Kitley to bite and attack. Because if she had actually managed to catch the pass from Perez, she had a layup. She was inside of Kitley, so it either would have been a layup or a foul, I imagine.
Amore stepping back, long 2, yes. Georgia Amore now with 5. And the lead stretching for Virginia Tech, 67-59 here.
It's almost, this quarter tells a very different story than the first 2, and you wonder now if the conditioning, remember we talk about NC State being on that 3-week pause, maybe their stamina is not up to snuff because they had not had many opportunities to practice as an entire squad.
Foul's going against Asia Shepard there for Virginia Tech. That's her second. Elizabeth Kitley with that rebound moments ago now has 10 double-doubles, 18 points and 10 rebounds this afternoon. 10 double-doubles. That leads the NCAA.
Camille Hoppy returning to the Wolfpack lineup.
There's not. Camille Hobby's back on the floor. See, some of these shots starting to go long are an indication to me that now we're starting to get a little bit concerned about the legs of these NC State players.
40 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Hokies on top. Kitley down low. No double team coming on her. Had room to work and converts. A 10-point lead for Virginia Tech now.
Such a smart move by Kitley. Doesn't even play around with the basketball. Has a clear height advantage. Turns and finishes.
Crutchfield, underhand shovel pass to Hobby. Can't make it.
Got to shoot it with confidence. You could tell she was hoping a little bit that that one would go in.
Shepard shot blocked. And so we will end the third quarter with Virginia Tech on top by 10 over the number 2 team in the nation, North Carolina State, coming off a 3-week pause. There's Kitley down low, just doing what she does. Another double-double. She's got 20 and 10. Fourth quarter coming up next. Welcome back. Buckle up. We got a great game here as Virginia Tech leads 69-59 over the second-ranked team in the nation. You see the 2020-2021 preseason All-ACC team in the coaches poll. We got a couple of those players playing here today. Jakia Brown-Turner having a good game. Again, Elisa Cunane is out in COVID protocol for the Hokies, for North Carolina State. You got Kitley on there as well as Asia Shepard. Kitley with a double-double today. Shepard 22 points, doing what she does, shooting the three very well.
Not just the three, but also attacking off the bounce, putting pressure on this Wolfpack defense. Now, in the fourth quarter, Coach Moore still has 4 timeouts remaining, which are going to be important because I'm really curious about the stamina of his group. More than anything, the third quarter looked like they were just kind of tired. You could see some of their shots going long or going shorter. They had that hopeful shooting form about them where you're just kind of hoping that you got the ball up enough to fall and find its way inside of the rim.
Offensive rebound there for Kitley. Got fouled, so she will shoot 2. Kitley on the season, a 75% free throw shooter.
This will be a big-time confidence game for the Hokies if they can pull this off.
Largest lead of the game for Virginia Tech, 71-59. Again, keep in mind, these two teams will meet again, not only again in the season, but a couple days from now. They will play again on Thursday.
Yeah, lots of basketball, including the NBA going to this format this year where teams kind of play double headers. And I've heard some NBA coaches say that they like it because you can't hide. You got to turn around and play the same team. There's no time for gimmicks and such. You just got to go play basketball, study your scout, and be prepared. Now, obviously, the big question mark is whether or not Alyssa Cunane will be available for Thursday's game.
Right. Good inbound pass to Hobby, knocked away by Georgia Amore, and she's in the open floor.
Great hands by Amore.
A nice dish, and can't finish, does Deja Gregg. Back the other way, here come the Wolfpack.
I actually think Hobby got a piece of that, which was a great hustle play by her to get back.
By Crutchfield, offensive foul. Amore's feet were set, and Virginia Tech basketball.
Wow, Georgia Amore. She's got a low center of gravity. Although Kai Crutchfield is not. What? Oh, okay. All right. I don't know, Sam. I don't talk too much about what officials do, but that happened real quick. I missed it. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
one.
I think if we had maybe a different angle on that, that was a tough angle to see the contact on, but. Shepard for 3. A little too strong in the rebound of Crutchfield. Good hands by Asia Shepherd there, and Kitley ends up with the basketball. So a couple of turnovers in the last 2 possessions for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, that's consecutive. I've got 3 turnovers now. Wolfpack not doing themselves any favors by not holding on to the basketball.
This game's getting a little bit out of hand now for North Carolina State, 73-59.
Yeah, they've got to look to get some action going downhill. Yes, this team is capable of knocking down threes, but they've gone a bit cold. They haven't put a ton of pressure on Kitley, although Georgia Amore's done a great job of defending the penetration.
Jada Boyd hit the deck hard there. She gets fouled. She'll shoot 2. The other thing, too, this is a North Carolina State team that ranks #1 nationally in defensive rebounds per game. They currently have 25 in this game. Virginia Tech has 32. Nothing but net. Every Sunday is our weekly basketball studio show. We'll provide the week, a look back, as well as the best games from the previous week, highlights, analysis, and insight that, of course, only we can provide. This week's show tonight, 8 Eastern, right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app.
You know, we were talking with Coach Moore, and he referenced the Pat Summitt line. I can't remember, it was offense, defense, but I did hear him say at the end that rebounding wins championship. And it's interesting, you point out that rebounding advantage for the Hokies in this ball game, similar to what we saw earlier today between Wake Forest and #1 ranked Louisville. The Demon Deacons out-rebounded the Cards, and they were in position to win that ball game with under 30 seconds to go as well. So
I believe what he said was offense brings fans, defense wins games,
there you
and
go.
Rebounding wins championships.
There you go.
Wolfpack getting out-rebounded here today. Pass a little bit ahead of Kitley, couldn't handle.
So here's the point where NC State is going to have to dig deep and compartmentalize. You need a score, a stop, a score, and a stop, right? You got to break this thing up into small chunks. Jada Boyd did a good job of attacking. She didn't capitalize on both free throws that last time down. But I'm going looking to get in the paint. That's exactly what Jakia Brown-Turner did.
It certainly creates movement for this team. 18 points now for Brown-Turner, 7 for 11 from the field.
Now here's the stop. Whichever side Liz Kitley is on, I wonder if you bring the double, but there's no shooter.
Good pass.
Good pass. What a great pass. There was no, that happened so quick, there was no time to bring a double. And there was no one hanging out on the weak side help either.
Kitley has had success all season down low, but it seems like today it's just a bit easier. It's not as physical as it has been against her, against teams like Georgia Tech, where you have Kubai down there. You're missing Kanane. That hurts a lot, but that's a good shot, and
it's a big-time play by Jada Boyd. And this, I just love the athleticism that she has. We get a look here. Baines finding Kitley. Quick little slip screen. Kitley finishes, no fuss. And then Jada Boyd, pump fake, change of direction, finishes, bounces off, absorbs the contact. Her team needed that big time.
Boyd now at 10 points. So 4 North Carolina State players in double digits. Unfortunately, it's been the offense for Virginia Tech that has really been unstoppable so far.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a departure in a positive light, because we talked about this team's notorious droughts, and today they've been able to avoid it. What a great move. Great footwork by Liz Kitley.
Double-double machine. Elizabeth Kitley, 10 double-doubles after getting one earlier in this game. Almost had one the first half. 26 points total, 11 boards so far. Jakia Brown-Turner's shot is deep, and the rebound to Asia Shepherd.
I'm surprised that Jada Boyd tried to get her defender up the lane and for a steal and a pass over the top on that last possession. Wolfpack's got to dig deep and find some defense here.
Shot clock down to 10. They get it down to Kitley. Still no double team off the front iron. And there's a stop there. Ball out of bounds, going to stay with the Wolfpack. So down by 12 with 5:42 left to go here in the game. The number 2 team in the nation trailing Virginia Tech, who is just 2-6 in conference play. They have dropped 6 of their last 7 games, has Virginia Tech.
This is such a precarious position for coaches. And I know we've talked a lot about the rhythm of this year, which includes COVID protocol. And all we know is that there were COVID protocols and they didn't have their entire team to practice over the entire 3 weeks. But they have between 6 and 11, NC State that is. We don't know which players were positive tests versus those that were involved with contact tracing and so on and so forth. So we have no way of knowing, which players are having a little bit of a tougher time in terms of stamina this particular game. But you can tell that this is a team that is not at their peak conditioning, as we've seen. This is certainly not the squad, obviously minus Alyssa Cunane, but this isn't the squad that knocked off South Carolina earlier this year.
Thea Brown-Turner's first free throw is good. Yeah, you have to imagine that conditioning plays a role. The Hokies have outscored North Carolina State 36-20 here in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, nonetheless, that's the story on NC State, but nonetheless, for the Hokies, this is a big-time opportunity to put a historic win in the win column and help them get off the skid of some really, really tough losses in ACC play.
Yeah, it could be a couple of wins if they can time it out right. You got North Carolina State again on Thursday. Kitley from the elbow. Yes, Kitley just adding them up right now.
Talk about a career night. Yeah, she's having a career day. 28 points, 11 rebounds so far.
Raina Perez's shot, no good. An offensive rebound to Turner. Here's a quick 3 and a good 3 from Kayla Jones.
Just in time. I mean, Kayla Jones is that player for this group.
17 points for Jones, 3 for 5 from long range today. Still a lot of time, and North Carolina State has 4 timeouts. Can't let that happen, though. Can't let Kitley get on the offensive glass, and you can't let her score off it either.
Poor Raina Perez. She was doing her best to block out, but there wasn't much that she could do with Kitley, who has a foot or so on her.
Amore goes down hard there, opens up for Kai Crutchfield for 3.
Man, that's a huge 3, a swaggy 3 if I do say so myself.
Back-to-back threes. They had gone quiet from deep in the last quarter and a half maybe, but see if they can pick it up here with under 4 left to go here in the fourth.
I am not as familiar with Camille Hobby and Jada Rice, but I do feel like Jada brought a little bit more physicality to dealing with Elizabeth Kitley. I wonder if Coach Moore would go back to her.
81-73, here's Crutchfield again, yes! Kai Crutchfield, that brings it within 5, and North Carolina State roaring back a 6-0 run over the last 40 seconds, Monica.
Partner, I would say that we've got ourselves a ball game. Game on the line, you go to the senior. Well, not quite on the line, but it's getting crunch time. Kai Crutchfield shows up.
All right, welcome back. Here's the series history between these two. North Carolina State leads 21-1. The only win for Virginia Tech against the Wolfpack came back in the 2015 ACC tournament. The Wolfpack have won 6 straight over Virginia Tech. Again, these two teams meet at Virginia Tech on Thursday. Virginia Tech under Coach Kenny Brooks, 2-22 versus ranked opponents. This would be a huge win for a variety of reasons for Virginia Tech, but if you give North Carolina State an inch, they will take it a mile. They're running on a 6-0 run right now, and they're right back in this thing down 5. Stolen away in the open floor, and good. Kai Crutchfield with the steal and the bucket.
Kai Crutchfield, Jakia Brown-Turner. I'm just going to take this one moment. They are DMV products, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia, which is my home region. And we produce ballers, as is Asia Shepherd, actually.
Oh, that was a hard rebound.
That's
I believe
scary.
that was Kayla King on the other end. And a whistle now.
Oh, that did not look good.
That did not look good. She hit the floor pretty hard.
Certainly hope that that's not anything too serious.
That is Kayla King on the ground. Went up for a rebound, and her legs kind of came out from under her. Here's another look at it.
Ooh.
Didn't have a whole lot of support there.
No. Okay, great to see her sitting up. Moving a little bit. Man.
All right, good to see her walk off on her own there, because that looked scary.
Very.
Big reason why Virginia Tech is in this game, because they started out so hot. Remember Kayla King hitting those threes at the top of the first quarter. 12 points today. Hopefully she is okay. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech leading by just 3 points now. Jakia Brown-Turner to tie. Yes!
Man, I love the game of basketball. This is a big-time comeback from NC State. And on the other end, there's that drought that Virginia Tech is susceptible to now. It happened very quickly because of the offensive efficiency and the intensity on the defensive end for the Wolfpack. Man, talk about responding. Big-time players make big-time shots and big-time games.
Wolfpack have also played some better defense on Kitley down low, who has 30 points in this one. Matches a career high for her.
Well, yeah, the defense is not to let her get the ball for the most part. I mean, over the course of this run, she has not been in a position to score.
Foul going against Jada Boyd there. It's going to be her fourth on
Wow, she
Jada
picked up
Boyd.
too quick. She had two coming into the fourth.
Shepherd, a long three with plenty left on the shot clock there.
All right, time and score. Yeah, and now
North Carolina State.
It now becomes a game of time and score. The defensive momentum certainly has favored the Wolfpack so far, as Kai Crutchfield, who has scored 8 of the last points for NC State, is now headed to the free throw line.
Crutchfield on the line for the Wolfpack.
Crutchfield has cranked it up a notch here in this fourth quarter. 18 points. Looking for more here at the free throw line. Rattles that one home for the first. Nothing but that every Sunday. Or excuse me. No, this is the men's basketball. We got Tuesday, North Carolina taking on Pitt. That's going to be a good one, 7 p.m. Eastern, of course, on the ACC Network. And you can watch on the ESPN app. Justin Champagny has been fantastic for Pitt this year. Could be player of the year in the conference.
Yeah, Coach Capel doing a tremendous job with the Panthers program, and Champagny is one of my favorite names of this season.
It's a great one, isn't it?
It's a great last name.
I think Coach Kenny Brooks was able to squeeze a timeout in there.
Man, partner. Woo, we got ourselves a ball game. All right, with 1:31 to go, they're going to inbounds. I believe it'll be a side out of bounds for the Hokies. And this is what Coach Brooks talked with us about. You know, he mentioned that word self-fulfilling prophecy as well, right? Virginia Tech has been here so many times this season. Almost every single, off the top of my head, each one of their conference games, I believe. And so now we get to see, have they grown? Have they learned? But on the other side, it's not so much whether or not Virginia Tech has grown or learned. You also are going against the #2 ranked team in the land, and they didn't just get that ranking by happenstance. And so we saw Kayla Jones, who's a seasoned senior, Kai Crutchfield, Jakia Brown-Turner, who's an all-conference type player. There's a lot of talent on the other end, and this 11-0 blitz that has gotten them back in the lead in this ball game, That's a lot of firepower to deal with. So they're certainly not going to roll over and make it easy for the Hokies.
No, and Kai Crutchfield has kind of been the catalyst for that run, and
Definitely.
has kind of kicked it up a notch, like we said, but she can distribute, and when she draws attention, got a lot of options to kick it to for threes.
Got to stay connected and communicate defensively here.
Kitley can't handle and turned over into the hands of Kayla Jones.
And we've seen that movie before with this Hokie squad, a costly turnover in the biggest moments of the game.
Lost 6 of their last 7 by an average margin of 5 points. Wow. Wow.
What do you do
Kayla
with
Jones.
that, Sam? What do you do with that? Man,
20 points.
Oh man, and Liz Kitley has to play that honestly. She contested, but Kayla can also put the ball on the ground and blow by as Asia Shepherd gets a quick response there.
Big possession here for the Wolfpack. Can they blow this open a little bit more?
I actually like this call to go to Jones because you're putting all the pressure on Kitley. She's got to sit and defend. This is a mismatch.
Loses it for a second, gets it back, misses. And the rebound to Azana Baines. 3-point game, Hokies down.
Brown Turner collapses a little bit late. I thought she could have been in position for that weak side rebound, but big time defensive rebound by Azana Baines.
1 timeout left for Virginia Tech. Hokies trying to find something here. Almost turned over in a foul. Ooh. Virginia Tech may have gotten bailed out a little bit there as Reina Perez stuck her hand in. But they'll go to the line now.
I literally, before this play goes, I was about to say NC State need not foul in this moment. Tough hustle play.
Two shots coming for Deja Gregg here, who has 5 points on the afternoon. Makes the first. Big free throw here, and she misses. Timeout for North Carolina State.
With
Up
that
by 2
timeout,
with 16.6 now, Monica. So they got the lead, but what do they do with it now?
well, they're going to be able to advance the ball off of that timeout call. Honestly, I'm holding. I'm going to the free throw line. I mean, this is a team that shoots from the free throw line 71% as a unit. They make 12.8 per game. Your best free throw shooters on the floor, I can't recall who's on the floor, but Jada Boyd shoots 78% from the three. Jakia Brown-Turner, or excuse me, from the free throw line. Brown-Turner shooting 70%. Perez is 84. Kai Crutchfield's at 90. I'm getting the ball to Kai, and we're going to hold.
Both teams in the bonus now with 16.6. Couple players on Virginia Tech's squad with 3 fouls, but Kayla King has 4. Inbound the ball and immediate foul going against Virginia Tech, so it'll be Jones at the free throw line. It'll go against Amore, her 4th.
And Jones is a 70% free throw shooter, but you know, these are the type of moments that Kayla Jones has shown all season she lives for.
Jones 5 for 7 from the free throw line now this afternoon. Brings the lead to 3. And now a 2-possession ball game.
All right, Hokies are inbounding. They're obviously going for a quick score. They got to get this ball up the floor.
Amore's got to go.
Yeah, the worst thing they could do would be to foul on a 3-point play.
Amore finds an open 3 and knocks it down.
That was a great read. I don't know how she came loose so cleanly. That's an excellent play.
A huge three for Georgia Amore brings it within one.
So King, wow, man.
But no one picked her up.
Yeah. Okay, so the Wolfpack is expecting to switch, and King keeps her dribble alive. They expect, Amore keeps her dribble alive and does not hand off to King, and you had two Wolfpack players go to King. What a great play. This is why, young folks watching, that's exactly why coaches tell you to keep your dribble alive.
All right, so a 1-point game, 4.4 left to go. Virginia Tech had North Carolina State on the ropes. They were up big. And then a 16-0 run.
12 points was our largest lead today, I believe.
Yep. Ball inbounded and a foul with 3.4 left to go now. It'll be Reina Perez to the free throw line, who is shooting 84% on the season. So Amore fouled out now with 5.
Coach Brooks has a timeout. If Perez, well, even if she makes both, it'll be a 3-point ball game. I imagine he'll call that timeout to advance and set up a half-court play to get a look at 3.
You're also missing now Georgia Amore, who is shooting over 40% from beyond the arc this season. She's fouled out.
Yeah, you're going to have to turn to King and Shepard, who lead that category of the players that are on the floor.
And she misses. Virginia Tech has to go. Kayla King with the ball, throws it up from half court. No good, and North Carolina State escapes barely with an 89-87 win. And they remain undefeated, 11-0, Monica. That was awfully, awfully close.
Partner, what a game. I mean, if you're the Wolfpack, you are incredibly proud of the grit and the resolve of your young people. Kai Crutchfield had her points, 11 in that fourth quarter, the biggest 11 points of the 20 that she scored today, 7 of 10 from the field. But honestly, when I think of the arc of this ball game, it was the 3 that Kayla Jones hit on the left wing that really sparked the comeback while her team was still down 6. And on the other end for the Hokies, yet another one. Such a tough loss. I tell you what, this team is, golly, these growing pains, they're going to be really dangerous next year, I guess. I don't know what to say to that, Sam.
Away. 3
Goodness.
players with 20-plus points, and North Carolina State able to hold on here at home. Again, your final score, 89-87. For our entire crew here in Raleigh, Monica McNutt, I'm Sam Ravitch. Again, so long. We give it to Kelsey Riggs and Muffet McGraw in the studio. Guys?
Alongside Coach Muffet McGraw, I'm Kelsey Riggs. Coach, I don't know if you're breathing over there. I'm barely breathing watching the end of that NC State game in Virginia Tech. You've got to give it to the Hokies for what they did. But I want to start with NC State. Coming back from that COVID pause, playing without Elisa Cunane and getting the job done. Who was it on that team that impressed you the most, or can you even pick one because they had a lot of players step up at the end?
They did, and it's really hard to pick one because Crutchfield came up big, and she has not been somebody that's participated a lot this year, so she had some huge shots. But Jones, again, making the dagger 3. That was the one that was the game winner. It was amazing to watch that comeback and just such a gutsy performance. Without Cunane, a huge part of their offense, I think that's just a great win and a huge confidence builder for NC State.
Kai had 20, Kayla Jones had 20, Jakia Brown-Turner had 23. On the other side, you look at Virginia Tech, and Elizabeth Kitley had a 30-point game, her 10th double-double. This Virginia Tech team is so close, Coach. I mean, all of their games feel like they are right there within it, and they're not able to get over the hump. What do you see when you look at this Virginia Tech team?
Well, it's tough because they're winning down the stretch, and I really thought a couple of questionable shots by Shepard when they had the lead late in the game. A costly turnover, out of bounds, inbounding to Kitley. Just the ball got away from him, and NC State came up with a big play. I was really impressed with the poise of NC State, but you have to feel for Virginia Tech. And I think that probably it's going through their head when the momentum is shifting and NC State's making that run, and they're thinking about all those games that they lost down the stretch.
5 of 7 of their ACC losses have been by 5 points or less, including this one. So they have certainly been close and lost in a lot of heartbreakers.